Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today is September 15th, and the Rangers got a huge sweep in Toronto, and your Braves are your NL East champions. Let's talk about it. Hello, everybody. My name is Steven. This is the middle of the order. Happy Friday, everybody. I hope you guys are having a great week and are excited for a weekend full of baseball and football, if that's up your alley. We're gonna get things started here. We got a lot to do, so let's just jump right on in to our series recap. All right, leading us off, we've got the Nationals and the Pirates, and it's C.J. Abrams who hits 2 home runs. The Nationals do take the opener versus the Pirates 6-2. Joshua Palacios hit a 2-run home run in the second, and the Pirates never looked back from there. They would win and even up the series 5-1. A 4-run first inning and a home run from Brian Reynolds lead the way for the Buccos, who take the third game and win it 7-6. And for that final game, Mitch Keller pitches 8 scoreless innings, while Jack Sawinski hits home run number 25 on the year. The Pirates take 3 of 4 from the Nationals and win that last game 2-0. Royals and White Sox now. Rain delay caused this series to start on a Tuesday as a doubleheader, and the White Sox started the day by scoring 5 runs in the first inning. They would hold the Royals, and that would lead them to a win 6-2. After scoring 4 runs in both the first and second innings, and another run in the third, the Royals were up 9-0 after 3 innings. In the 6th inning, though, the White Sox went off and scored 8 runs, which tied the game up at 9. But luckily for the Royals, they got the lead back and held it from there as they almost lose in an embarrassing comeback from behind fashion. But they hold on and get the win to even the series 11-10. Final game, the rubber match, a Michael Massey home run early would help the Royals get things going. They would take the lead and take the eventual win. They take 2 of 3 from the White Sox and beat them 7-1. Cardinals and Orioles now. It's a bird battle, and Cedric Mullins hits a grand slam in the game. Rookie Gunnar Henderson joins him by hitting his 25th home run of the year. The Orioles take the opener, beating the Cardinals 11-5. 2 home runs from Richie Palacios and 1 from Goldschmidt lead the way for the Redbirds as the Cardinals even up the series with the win 5-2. And for that final game, the only run scored was on another Richie Palacios home run. He hit 3 home runs in the series. The Cardinals take 2 of 3 from the Oilers and win the bird battle 1-0. Cubs and Rockies now. Christopher Morel hits home run number 22, and Yan Gomes has a great day at the plate with 3 RBIs, leading the way to the Cubs' W as they take it 5-4. The official debut of Pete Crow Armstrong, and while he did not record a hit, he did get an RBI on a ground out and made an absolute amazing catch in center field. Seiya Suzuki, he homered in the 6th to tie the game up for the Cubbies, but former Cub Chris Bryant hit his 9th home run of the year to give the Rockies the lead, as that run would be part of the difference in this one as they even up the series with the win. Rockies take it 6-4. After being down 3-0 in that final game, the Rockies hit 4 home runs from Nolan Jones, Eliris Montero, Chris Bryant, and Ryan McMahon, as the Rockies do some teams fighting for that wild card a favor and take 2 of 3 from the Cubs as they win it 7-3. Reds and Tigers now. Tigers had a 3-run lead before the Reds scored 5 unanswered runs to take the lead, but the Tigers won't fall that easy. They would tie the game up and send us to extras, where the Reds were able to score a run on a Tyler Stevenson base hit and then would hold the Tigers as the Reds take the opener in extras, winning it 6-5. Spencer Torkelson would hit his 28th home run of the season, but a 2-run triple from TJ Friedel would help the Reds take the second game as well as they beat the Tigers 4-3. For that final game, Akil Baddoo hits home run number 10 on the year, and Matt Vierling would hit a grand slam late to put the game out of reach for his 9th on the year. The Tigers avoid the sweep and beat the Reds 8-2. D-backs and Mets now. It's a 4-game set here, and down late, the Diamondbacks are able to tie the game on a Tommy Pham home run and then took the lead in the 9th on a double from Ketel Marte. The D-backs get a come-from-behind win and beat the Mets in the first of 4-3. Ronnie Mauricio hits his first career home run for the Mets to get them the lead in the 4th inning. Later on, Pete Alonso hits home run at number 44, and Francisco Alvarez hits home run at number 23. The Mets even up the series with the win 7-4. The Mets got to Gallen and scored 7 runs before the D-backs got on the board. The Mets hold on and beat them once again 7-1. And then a great start from Kodai Senga is backed by a 5-run 5th inning and a Jeff McNeil home run. The Mets blow out the D-backs in the last game and take 3 of 4 from them in that series, 11-1. Moving on now, we have the Yankees and the Red Sox. This 4-game series turned into a 2-day series as rain on Monday and Wednesday caused for 2 doubleheaders on Tuesday and Thursday. And we start with Rafael Devers hitting home run number 30 on the year, but the Yankees would come back and take the lead on a Gleyber Torres single. That would be the difference in this game. The Yankees would win it 3-2. Ceddanne Rafael hits his first career MLB home run for the Red Sox, but the Yankees would have the lead and add 2 insurance runs in the 9th. They do end up beating Boston once again 4-1. But then in the 3rd game, Ceddanne Rafael hits his second career home run, and joining him was Trevor Story, who hit his 2nd of the year, and the Red Sox are able to win a game and beat the Yankees 5-0. And for the final game, a 5-run 2nd inning was capped off by an Aaron Judge grand slam for his 32nd of the year. The Yankees come into Boston and take 3 of 4 from the Red Sox, winning it 8-5. Speaking of rivalries, the Padres and the Dodgers, what a rivalry this has been over the last couple of years. Mookie Betts gets a leadoff home run for his 39th home run of the year, and is 1 away from his first 40 home run season, but the Padres didn't let that get to them as Manny Machado hit 2 home runs, and Juan Soto and Xander Bogaerts both hit 1 for a total of 4 Padre home runs, leading them to a win in the opener 11-8. Dodgers answer with a bounce-back game where Freddie Freeman went 4 for 5 with a home run. Will Smith joined him with a home run of his own. The Dodgers win it and even up the series 11-2. In the final game, Blake Snell, another great performance to help his Cy Young chances. Juan Soto and Luis Campusano go deep for the Padres, who beat LA and take 2 of 3 from them, 6-1. We got the Braves and the Phillies now, and this 3-game series is now a 4-game series as they would play a game that got delayed back in June. And although the Braves already clinched postseason, a good series here would get them the division. We start with Michael Harris II and Ronald Acuna Jr. both homering for the Braves to get them a 4-run lead in the 6th, but Trey Turner would make it a 2-run lead with his 25th home run of the season as his tear continues. And in the 9th inning, Bryce Harper, the king of clutch, hit a 2-run home run to tie the game up and send it to extras, where the Braves scored 2 runs and held the Phillies. The Braves win the first game 10-8. Matt Olson hit 2 home runs in the game for his 49th and 50th of the year, and before this year he didn't even have a 40 home run season, and now he has a 50. It's been a remarkable year for him, but a 4-run first inning for Philly and a Brandon Marsh home run helped the Phillies get the win as they even up the series 7-5. Home runs aplenty in this one. Bryce Harper, Nicholas Castellanos, Trey Turner, and Bryson Stott all homer for the Phillies. Michael Harris II, Matt Olson, Ronald Acuna Jr. all homer for the Braves. And at the end of 9, we would be tied, so extras we will go once again. The Braves are able to score a run and then hold the Phillies. The Braves get another win in extras 7-6. And after taking 2 of the first 3 here, the Braves' magic number for the division is to 1, and a win in this game would secure them the division as they would start to make it with a big, they would start this game with a big 2-run home run from Austin Riley, Meanwhile, Spencer Strider was dominant, striking out 9 batters in 7 innings while only giving up a run. The Braves go on to win it. They take 3 of 4 from the Phillies and secure the NL East division. Once again, they win it 4-1. Continuing on, we have the Guardians and the Giants. A home run for each team got us started as Mike Yastrzemski and Josh Naylor both homer for their respective teams. By the end of this one, we are tied up and heading to extras, where the Guardians took the lead with a run, but in the Giants' half, they would tie the game back up, and then Lamont Wade Jr. walked it off with a single as the Giants get the walk-off win in the opener, beating them 5-4. Second game, Blake Sable hits his 13th home run of the year that would tie the game up for the Giants, but a 2-run single from Tyler Freeman would be the difference in this game as the Guardians get the win and even up this series 3-1. The Guardians had a 4-run lead after 2 innings, including a home run from Jose Ramirez. But later on in the 8th inning, J.D. Davis hits a 3-run home run, which would tie the game up, and that would be happy for Giants as they would send it to extras for the second time in the series, where after holding the Guardians, the Giants would get another walk-off win from Lamont Wade Jr. again, this time a sac fly that drove in the winning run. So with the help of Lamont Wade Jr., the Giants get 2 walk-off wins in the series, take 2 of 3 from the Guardians, and win it 6-5. Rays and Twins now. A couple of home runs from Taylor Walls and Yandy Diaz helped the Rays get past the Twins in the first game as they beat them 7-4. This time it's 2 home runs from the Twins as Eduardo Julian and Willie Castro go deep. The Twins beat the Rays and even the series 3-2. In that final game, the rubber match, Rays up 4, but a couple of Twins home runs from Matt Wallner and Kyle Farmer, and then a triple from Max Kepler would tie the game up for the Twins. But in the 9th, Randy Arozarena crushes his 22nd home run of the year to put the Rays up and get them the win as they would hold the Twins. Tampa takes 2 of 3 and wins it 5-4. A's and Astros now. The A's, get to Framber Valdez as Brent Rooker, Shea Langeliers, and Ryan Noda all hit home runs. Oakland blanks the Astros and wins the opener. What? 4-0. Oakland is doing a great job at playing the spoiler as Shea Langeliers and Tony Kemp both homer off of Verlander now. They get another win versus the Astros, helping out teams like the Rangers and the Mariners. They beat them 6-2. But for that final game, the Astros flipped the script. Yordan Alvarez, Alex Bregman, and Kyle Tucker all go deep in this game. The Astros pitching staff took a combined no-hitter into the 9th inning, but with 2 outs still left to get, Ryan Noda got the A's first hit of the game, which eventually turned into a couple of A's runs, but the Astros in the end, despite losing the no-hitter, get the win and avoid the sweep versus Oakland. They beat them 6-2. Angels and Mariners now. Quite the first game here as after the Mariners scored 3 runs early with the help of Kyle Raleigh. It was an Angels rookie catcher, Logan O'Hoppe, who hit not 1 but 2 home runs for his 9th and 10th on the year to tie it up and send it to extras, where Brandon Drury hit a 2-run home run to put the Angels up, but the Mariners would answer in their half with a 2-run home run of their own from Julio, which brought us to the 11th, where the Angels scored 3 runs and then held the Mariners as they end up with that crazy win, 8-5. 3 Mariner pitchers blank the Angels as a home run from Eugenio Suarez would help the Mariners take this one as they even up the series 8-0. And for that final game, the rubber match, the Mariners were down a run as Brett Phillips hit his 2nd home run of the year. But in the 5th, they would take the lead after 2 runs were scored on singles from Kyle Raleigh and Teoscar Hernandez. They would hold the lead from there, and the Mariners get a game back on the Astros and take 2 of 3 from the Halos, winning it 3-2. Marlins and Brewers now, and they're playing each other for the first time this year with less than 3 weeks left of the season. And this first matchup was all Brewers. It started with a Mark Canha home run, and then they went on to score 11 more runs in the game. And on the other side, Brandon Woodruff threw his first ever complete game shutout as he dominated the Marlins. The Brewers get the opener 12-0. Luis Arias leadoff home run for number 7 got the Finns going early in the second game here, but that would be the only run they would get as the bringer of rain, Josh Donaldson, hit his 11th home run of the year and his first as a Brewer to get them the lead, in which they would end up being the difference. The Brewers get another win 3-1. The Marlins get an answer here in the third game as the Finns pitchers blank the Brewers, and then Garrett Hampson, he would hit a double to get them the second run of the game. That would help the Marlins win it as they take it 2-0. And for that final game, the Brewers tied the game in the fifth with a double from Tyrone Taylor. Later on in that inning, they would take the lead after a Sal Frelick single. The Brewers end up with the win and take 3 of 4 from the Marlins as they win it 4-2. And here we go, the last one. Rangers at Blue Jays. And it's the start of a 4-game set with a lot at stake. The Jays, a game and a half up on the Rangers. And the Rangers trying to get back into that wild card. Evan Carter hits his first MLB home run of his career to tie the game up in the third inning. And once the Rangers got the lead in the fifth, they ran away with it, and eventually in the seventh, Jonah Heim hit a grand slam to put this first game out of reach. Rangers win it 10-4. Max Scherzer in Game 2 was dominant until having to leave with some sort of injury. Robbie Grossman got the scoring start though with a home run, and the Rangers went on and added 3 more runs in the 6th and 7th combined, leading them to another win and securing the tiebreaker versus the Jays if necessary, 6-3. The Jays continue to show no fight as Jordan Montgomery pitches 7 scoreless innings with Nathaniel Lau, Robbie Grossman, and Mitch Garver all hitting multi-run home runs, resulting in a third straight Texas win, 10-0. For that final game, Corey Seager, a first-inning home run, got it started for Texas, but then Vladdy hit a 2-run shot in the Jays' half of the first for only the second Blue Jays lead in this series, and just like the first game, the lead didn't even last a full inning as Seager tied it up on a double, and just like the rest of the series, the Rangers then ran away with it. Heim hit another home run, and the Rangers show up to Toronto down a game and a half and embarrass the Blue Jays with a 4-game sweep. They take it 9-2. Now for our game of the week, we're heading to Atlanta and Philly. Bottom second, that's when we get the first run in this one. Nicholas Castellanos home run at number 23 makes it 1-0 Philly. At the top of the fourth, Matt Olson home run number 51. That ties the game up at 1. Then Ronald Acuna Jr. in the fifth, a 2-run shot, his 37th of the year. That's now 3-1 Atlanta. Later on in that inning, Marcell Ozuna home run number 34, and it is now 6-1 as that's a 3-run shot from him. Bottom of the seventh now, Trey Turner, he would single. That makes it 6-2. Then we head to the bottom of the eighth, and it's Bryce Harper, home run number 17. It's a solo shot. It's now 6-3, with the Braves still up. Later on, it's Bryson Stott, home run number 15, and now it's 6-5. It's a 2-run shot from him. The Phillies down 1 in the ninth. We will go, and it's Trey Turner again. What a tear this guy has been on since getting a standing ovation in his biggest slump in his worst career year. He's turned it around tremendously. This is home run number 26 for him on the year. That ties the game and sends us to extras. We're in the top of the 10th. Eddie Rosario, he would single in the Braves run. Brad Hand comes in and gets the save versus the Phillies. They win it 7-6. That is your game of the week. All right, let's start talking some baseball news, and let's start with the Braves. A round of applause for them. They are your NL East champions for the 6th straight year, and I mean, it's not even close. They have been a phenomenal team, 1 through 9. You go through the rotation, the bullpen. The Braves are the last team you want to see in the playoffs. And I'll tell you who the Braves don't want to see in their first round. It's the Philadelphia Phillies. Remembrance of last year will have them a little worried. So as of right now, they would play the winner of the 4 and 5 seed if they could hold on to the first seed overall. And those 4 and 5 seeds are the Phillies and the Cubs. So the winner of that series would head to Atlanta for the division series. So yeah, the only thing the Braves have left to do, the only thing they have really left to play for, is clinching the number 1 seed overall. The Dodgers could still take that from them, but the Braves have clinched, the only team that's clinched postseason, and they've clinched the division now as well. So congrats to those Braves. Looking at who can clinch next, a couple teams here. We're getting close to when we can start having teams clinch. The Dodgers, the Baltimore Orioles, and the Tampa Bay Rays are all right there, ready to go and get, clinch their divisions. The Dodgers, not the division, excuse me, because the Rays and Orioles are clinching postseason. The Dodgers, though, would clinch their division. They're about 4 games is their magic number there. So a couple of their wins or a Giants and D-backs losses would help them out get closer to that. Both the Rays and Oilers are 4 games away from clinching postseason, but of course the Rays are only a game back of Baltimore for that division, so that would go down to the last week of baseball, I presume. But those are the next 3 to kind of clinch postseason berths and divisions. All right, the Red Sox, they have fired their chief baseball officer, Chaim Bloom. I don't think this is to anyone's surprise. This is usually the time period where, teams will make some of the moves like these for high office positions. But yeah, if Boston does finish last in the season, the standings, which I believe they currently are, I think after the Yankees went 3 or 4, they've passed them. If the Red Sox finish last, they would have finished last in 3 of the 4 seasons in the Bloom era since he was hired back in 2019, I believe. So 2020, 2021, 2022, and now 2023. They will have finished last 3 or 4 of those seasons. And it's not pretty if you're a Boston fan, not because your team isn't good, but because, teams like Baltimore's not going anywhere. The Yankees never seem like they're going anywhere. This is a bad year for them, but I bet you next year they're going to be right back in things with a healthy Judge and a better team. The Jays and the Rays, who knows where they're going to go, but I mean, you never want to count out either of those teams. Boston on paper is a good team, and if they were in the AL Central, they would be winning the division. But unfortunately, they're kind of at the bottom of their division, and I mean, it's a tough hand that you're dealt. But unfortunately, it's the way it works. So unfortunately for Chaim Bloom, he has been fired. Moving on, Jasson Dominguez. It's been news that he's getting Tommy John surgery. Very rare when a position player has to get Tommy John. He's going to miss 9 to 10 months as he recovers from that. I'm assuming he's either already gotten the surgery or is planning on it in the next week or so. This will keep him out until mid to late June, maybe even early July. Not sure if the Yankees are going to bring him up right away as soon as he's healthy again, or give him a couple reps in AAA. Probably give him a couple reps in AAA regardless, but will they keep him in there for the next season, or what their plan is going forward with him? But yeah, unfortunately, he's shut down from there. So sad news for Yankees fans. And speaking of sad fans from an AL East team, the Blue Jays, man, what happened? Absolute embarrassing 4-game series. It's the first time the Blue Jays have been swept in a 4-game series at home in September. Yeah, just awful. It was awful baseball. They were not competitive. They had the lead for 1 whole inning if you count the 2 half innings in the first game and the 4th game. There was no fight, and they were dominated on. The Jordan Montgomery absolutely shoved. He probably had the best starting pitching performance Max Scherzer would have if he had not gotten hurt. We'll talk about that in a couple seconds here. I mean, it was awful. Bo and Vlad, for the first 2 games, they were 0 for 7 combined, or like 0 for 8. Like, it was bad. I can't tell you one thing the Blue Jays did right. The bullpen was mid. There was no offense. A couple of guys hit a home run here and there. Davis Schneider hit a home run in the second game. But you were still down 3 runs at the time, and that was in the ninth inning. Like, what do you expect? There was no base runners. There was no momentum. And it should have been entering the series. Blue Jays were 8-2. Rangers were 3-7. Just got losing a game against Oakland. Like, the momentum should have been in the Jays' favor, and it was completely opposite. The Rangers had all the offense. Corey Seager was incredible, always finding a way to hit the baseball. A couple home runs for him. Jonah Heim, a couple home runs, including a grand slam. Evan Carter, not only on the bat for his first Major League home run, his defense was incredible. He threw out Kevin Kiermaier, from left field as he was trying to go home. It just wasn't there, and you can't say the injuries. Matt Chapman wasn't there. Things like that. It doesn't matter because the Rangers are missing Josh Young. The Rangers don't have Adolis Garcia. Like, if anything, you guys should have at least tied the series, if not won the series. The Blue Jays looked poor. They haven't had any good games against good teams. The record that the Blue Jays have does not display the team that has been on the field playing these games so far. And right now, the Blue Jays, this was a series you had to get, and you didn't. And this puts kind of your postseason and your October and maybe even your future next year in jeopardy because of, now you're stuck with Boston, you're stuck with the Yankees, and you're stuck with the Rays for these last 5 series here. And we know that the Blue Jays have been notoriously bad against AL East teams this year. And I mean, the fact that these are the last teams that they have to face, they have to go, and they have to go now. Time is only getting shorter and shorter with each game that's played. The one thing, and I'll say this very briefly, the one thing that can benefit the Blue Jays here, or at least is still a good thing for them, is that the Mariners and Rangers, the two teams in the wild card above them, play each other for 7 games. So if one of those two teams takes 6 of the 7, that other team will fall hard and will give the Jays a chance. But in order for the Jays to have that chance, they need to beat the Yankees, the Rays, and the Red Sox. And it needs to start now because those series happen in the last three series of the season. But I mean, you start with Boston, which is probably going to be your easiest opponent if you're a Blue Jays fan. So I mean, you got to get 2 of 3 against Boston here at home before you go to New York and Tampa Bay, because that's when things will get very tricky. But for the Blue Jays, not a good series. The Rangers, fantastic job getting that 4-game sweep. But what did it cost you? How about Max Scherzer? He's done for the year with his injury, which, I mean, Rangers fans, you can feel good about your 4-game sweep, but that is a huge blow for you guys. I mean, you have some depth with pitching-wise, so it is not the end of the world, but you went out, you traded for this guy. This guy was going to lead you to the postseason and lead you, how far he could take you, and now he's not going to be able to finish the rest of the season and most likely miss playoffs. It said that he's could make it back for the postseason, but it's very unlikely that he will. So, I mean, that's going to be more innings for that bullpen, which is notoriously bad, even though they looked fantastic against the Blue Jays. But that Rangers bullpen is not great. They haven't been great besides the series. And, I mean, guys like Jordan Montgomery, you're going to have him have more performances like he did. That start was incredible. Hopefully Nathaniel Eovaldi can be healthy and can get on the field. But, yeah. And, it's just poor stuff overall from the Blue Jays. And for the Rangers, it's nice to get that 4-game sweep, but obviously losing Scherzer has a sour taste in Rangers fans' mouths. Okay, here we go now with our hot and cold for the week. Starting off with our hots, TJ Friedl from your Reds, 7 for 16, 2 triples, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, 4 runs, an OPS of 1.589. Mike Yastrzemski, 8 for 16, that's 500, 4 doubles, a home run, 3 RBIs, 3 runs, an OPS of 1.517. Julio Rodriguez, 11 for 21, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, 7 runs, an OPS of 1.450. Rafael Devers, 10 for 20, 500 again. 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, 7 runs, an OPS of 1.450, same as Julio's. And lastly here, Matt Olson, 9 for 23, 4 home runs, 12 RBIs, 5 runs, an OPS of 1.438. Moving on to the cold, Brian De La Cruz from your Marlins, 2 for 20, 8 Ks. Also from your Marlins, Jesus Sanchez, 1 for 16, 8 Ks. MJ Melendez, 0 for 14 with 7 Ks. Hunter Renfroe, 0 for 13 with 7 Ks. And then Adam Duvall is 0 for 7. Only played in 2 games, but he's 0 for 7 with 6 Ks. So he only put the ball in play once. No one else stood out to me, so that's why I went with Duvall. But those are your hot and cold. And now we have our outstanding performances, and we'll start with Mitch Keller from your Pirates. 8 innings pitched, 2 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, 7 Ks. Spencer Strider, 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 9 Ks. Jordan Montgomery, 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, 3 Ks. Blake Snell, 6 innings pitched, 1 hit, no earned runs, 1 walk, 8 Ks. Kodai Senga, 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, 10 Ks. And then Brandon Woodruff, the complete game shutout, 9 innings pitched, 6 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, and 7 Ks. Those are your outstanding performances. And now we have a look here at our stat leaderboard. Not much has changed, but a couple things have. The average now for Luis Ariz is down to 349. He still leads it, but is not as high as it once was back in June when it was 400. Hits, Ronald Acuna Jr. still leads it at 199 now. He's 1 more hit away from 200 on the season. Matt Olson with home runs at 51. Matt Olson with RBIs at 128. Acuna with runs at 133 still. Juan Soto still leads in the walks at 119, but Schwarber is at 118. Soto has led in walks from like the first week of the season onward, and now Schwarber is only 1 behind him, so let's see if he can catch up. Stolen bases, it's still Acuna at 66. OPS, it is no longer Shohei, it's Corey Seager who has taken him over in OPS. He's now 1.069. Corey Seager now leads the league in OPS. Spencer Strider now leads in wins, no longer tied with Steele. He now has 17 on the season. ERA goes to Blake Snell, still at 2.43. The Ks is to Strider at 2.59. And the saves is Emmanuel Clase with 40. That is your stat leaderboard. And now moving along to our upcoming series for this weekend. And we start with Yankees at Pirates, Tigers at Angels, Padres at A's, Twins at White Sox, Nationals at Brewers, Phillies at Cardinals, Giants at Rockies, Reds at Mets, Braves at Marlins, Astros at Royals, Red Sox at Blue Jays, Rangers at Guardians, Dodgers at Mariners, Cubs at Diamondbacks. That's a big one there for your NL wildcard. And then, of course, the biggest one, Rays at Oilers, a 4-game set there that got started yesterday. But that is essentially the battle of the AL East. Now we have our playoff predictor for this week here. The Mariners in the 6th seed taking on the Twins in the 3rd seed, and it's the Mariners who upset them. Rangers at Rays, and it's another upset as the Rangers beat the Rays. Now we have Rangers at Oilers and Mariners at Astros. And again, those two teams do the upsetting as the Rangers beat the O's and the Mariners beat the Astros. So now for the championship series, we have the 6th seed and the 5th seed, the Mariners at the Rangers. And it is the Rangers who win it and head to the World Series. On the NL side, it's the Giants and Brewers. Giants in the 6th seed, Brewers at the 3 seed there. And it's the Brewers who beat them there. Cubs at Phillies for the 4-5 seed matchup, and it's the Phillies who win that. So for the division series, we have Brewers at Dodgers and Phillies at Braves, and the Braves definitely don't want to see that matchup, but this one they take as the Braves beat the Phillies. The Brewers get the upset against the Dodgers and beat them. So for our championship series, we have the Brewers at the Braves, and upset alert, it's the Brewers who beat the Braves and head to the World Series. So we have the Rangers at the 5 seed versus the Brewers, who are in the 3 seed there, and it's the Brewers, the Milwaukee Brewers, the Brew Crew, who are your 2023 World Series champions. That is our playoff predictor. There's still more. And more is right. We are looking at the battle of the AL East. The Rays and the Orioles. Orioles are at home, and it makes sense because they are currently leading the division. Little mention here, I'm going to have to be talking about yesterday's game already just because that affects the matchup and the data here. So entering the series yesterday, the Orioles had won the season 6-3 currently. So for the Rays to get the tiebreaker, they have to sweep the series. The Rays did win yesterday against Baltimore for the first game, so that matchup is now up to 6-4. So if the Rays can get today, Saturday, and Sunday, they will have the tiebreaker. Yesterday's starters: Kyle Bradish from your Baltimore Orioles, and Aaron Savali for your Tampa Bay Rays. Looking at today, we have Zach Eflin and Jack Flaherty. The Saturday game, Tyler Glasnow versus Grayson Rodriguez. That's definitely the best pitching matchup. And to end it on Sunday, we have Zach Little from your Rays, and then Dean Creamer from your O's. The Rays were entering this series 2 games back of the AL East. Now it is only 1 game back after the win yesterday. So Tampa Bay is right there on the O's heels. And hey, they're 1 game back. If they take 2 of the 3 left, they will end their series tied up. Baltimore would have the tiebreaker. I think right now, if you're Baltimore, you just want to win 1. You don't want to get swept at home like the Blue Jays did, but winning 1 is very important because that at least gets you the tiebreaker. You know, try to win a second, even get this 3rd game, but at least 1 is what you need if you're Baltimore, to say the least. Some X-Factor players to look at. Number 1 on my list, Gunnar Henderson. This guy is tearing it up. He's my lock kind of for the AL Rookie of the Year. When he's hitting home runs, Baltimore is winning. I know he had a home run yesterday and they lost, but he's definitely a key contributor on that team. He's a very good young star that Baltimore has for a long time. He definitely needs to have a good series there for Baltimore. My number 2 guy, it's Randy Arozarena. October is just around the corner. Playoff Randy is about to come out of hibernation, and I think Tampa Bay fans would love it if he came out a little bit early and had a great series here. We know Randy always pulls a bunny out of a hat around this time of year. He's the magician. He is an absolute insane player, Mr. October 2.0. But I think he needs to get going now. He had that home run against the Twins on Sunday to help the Rays win that game. So I think Randy definitely needs to get have a couple good at bats and be a contributor in that series. My 3rd X Factor is Jack Flaherty. Baltimore said, "Hey, we want you. You're the guy." They got him at the trade deadline, and he's pitched some okay games, but he's also had a couple of stinkers. He's pitching today against Eflin, and after your loss yesterday, the last thing you want to do is now be tied in that division. So I think he needs to come out, and I think he needs to have his best start with Baltimore today. I think he just needs to fire him in there. His fastball is going to work for him if he can place it properly. So let's see Jack Flaherty have a good start today. My 4th guy, and my 5th guy, I guess, as well, the leaders of these teams. For me, number 4, Adley Rutschman. He's a young player, a great player. If I had to pick between who I think is better between him and Gunnar, I think Gunnar's had a great season, but Rutschman is going to be that leader of that team going forward. I'm expecting Baltimore to sign him into a long-term deal. Adley's kind of like the Buster Posey with the Giants back in the early 2010s here. He's going to lead that team. He is the catcher. He is going to kind of command it. And, if you got to win games, you got to look at your leader. You got to say, hey, what do we got to do? And Ali's going to be that guy there to help them out. So Ali's my fourth X factor there. My fifth is Brandon Lau from your Tampa Bay Rays. I believe he's the longest tenured Ray currently. He's been around the longest, to my knowledge. And, he's a good hitter. He still is. He gets the job done. He's had some clutch moments for the Rays this year. Just, I think, last week, he hit that walk-off home run against Kenley Jansen. So he's a good player, but he is also the leader of that team, essentially, at least in terms of the offense. And, Baltimore's bullpen's good, and their pitching's pretty, solid as a whole. So they need some offense, and I think Brandon Lau is going to be a big contributor in that regards. And I'm going to add a sixth X-Factor player in here just because it's Heston Kjerstad. Baltimore called up another kid in Heston Kjerstad. He technically made his debut last night in a pinch-hitting role. He went 0 for 1 with a strikeout. But, I'm expecting him to be in the starting lineup today. Maybe he's on the bench again today. Who knows? But, it's another young kid with a lot of potential. So let's see how he plays. That's a completely random player that can, change the complexion of this series for Baltimore. He can be a huge part in that series. If he's not playing well, then they're just going to sit him down the bench. But if he comes out, if he starts today and goes, 2 for 4 with a double, hey, that's a contributor, let him play. So we'll see what he has left in the tank. In terms of the injuries, Tampa Bay is without Jose Siri. And, of course, we know that Baltimore's without Felix Bautista. Those are the major injuries that kind of shape this series as well. After this series, so let's say they come out tied. Let's say Tampa takes 2 of these last 3 here, and they come out tied. What is going to be, or who has the advantage? Well, the Rays will finish their series here with the Angels, Jays, Red Sox, Jays. So, hey, if Toronto ends up folding, then that's pretty light for Tampa. Baltimore has Astros, Guardians, Nationals, Red Sox. The Nats are a much easier team, but the Astros are a lot heavier. So we'll have to see what Baltimore does against the Astros in the next series to determine kind of the flow of direction. So if you're Baltimore, you really want to win these games. If you're going to sit down and watch one of them, I would say Saturday, Tyler Glasnow versus Grayson Rodriguez, ace versus ace. I'm pretty sure Grayson Rodriguez is the ace of these O's. John Means just came back recently, let him get into the groove of things again. Grayson has been dominant, so we'll see what that is. But that's kind of the preview here of the Battle of the AL East. 3 games left to go in that series there. And that is going to wrap up our episode here today. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening. Have a great weekend. Enjoy some baseball. Enjoy some football. Enjoy sports. Live your life. Have some fun with it. Thank you, everybody, so much. And I will see you guys on Monday.